Gary DeWaal here, and this is Bridging the Week from March 2nd to 6th, and today is March 9th, 2015. Good morning. The few regulatory and legal developments in the worldwide financial services industry centered in Europe this past week, where a bank, its senior compliance officer, and its sole internal auditor were sanctioned for misleading a regulator, while a European court ruled that the European Central Bank could not require all clearinghouses processing euro transactions to be located in the Eurozone only, as opposed to the United Kingdom too. A European-based bank was also fined by a U.S. futures exchange for not maintaining required documents to support an exchange for related position transactions. This week is the annual FIA Futures Industry Conference in Boca Raton, Florida, and I have a plane to catch, so let's get started. The Bank of Beirut was fined the equivalent of $3.16 million by the Financial Conduct Authority of the United Kingdom for not fixing issues related to its anti-money laundering program in a timely fashion, after being told by the FCA to address the issues, and for misleading the FCA that it had fixed the issues timely when it had not. In addition, Anthony Wills, the bank's former compliance officer, was fined the equivalent of $29,500 for providing incorrect information to FCA on a number of occasions, claiming that the bank had completed its requirements to approve its AML program when this was not accurate. Finally, Michael Allen, the bank's sole internal auditor, was also fined the equivalent of $14,900 for preparing writings given to FCA that suggested that the bank had completed its FCA-mandated action points when it failed to do so. FCA, including its predecessor, the Financial Services Authority, initially advised the bank to approve its AML program following visits in 2010 and 2011 through recommendations to implement a number of quote-unquote remediation plan action points, including addressing various AML deficiencies in customer files. FCA charged that Mr. Wills affirmatively provided FCA incorrect or misleading information, quote-unquote, on a number of occasions, when he had an obligation to deal with FCA in a quote-unquote open and cooperative way, and to disclose any information in which the FCA would reasonably expect notice. Mr. Wills claimed that he had insufficient resources to conduct his role as a compliance officer, and felt pressured from senior management to be quote-unquote careful in his communications with FCA. The FCA did not accept this defense. In addition to its fine, Bank of Beirut agreed not to open accounts for new customers that are resident or incorporated in high-risk jurisdictions for 126 days. Deutsche Bank AG agreed to pay a fine of $650,000 to ICE Futures US related to the bank's apparent failure to maintain confirmation statements to support the physical legs of exchange-related position transactions involving foreign currency. The alleged documentation lapses occurred on quote-unquote numerous instances from September 2011 through December 2013, said IFUS. Deutsche Bank neither admitted or denied any rule violation. HD Vest Investment Securities, a Securities and Exchange Commission registered broker-dealer, agreed to pay a fine of $225,000 to settle charges by the SEC related to the firm's alleged failure to supervise salespersons that defrauded customers. According to the SEC, HD Vest conducted its business through over 4,500 independent contractor salespersons located in branch offices throughout the United States, the vast majority of whom operated tax businesses utilizing outside business entities. Notwithstanding, HD Vest had no policy and procedures to monitor its salespersons outside businesses. As a result, claimed the SEC, from at least December 2007, an unspecified number of HD Vest salespersons transferred funds from customer accounts or had their customers write investment-related checks to the outside businesses rather than to HD Vest, and subsequently used the funds for personal purposes. HD Vest was also charged with failing, as required by law, to retain all electronic communications with the public and to set aside adequate funds in a special reserve account for the exclusive benefit of customers. In addition to a fine, HD Vest was required to retain an independent compliance consultant to enhance its supervisory controls. In a lawsuit brought by the United Kingdom, the European General Court ruled that the European Central Bank cannot mandate that central clearinghouses that clear Euro-denominated trades be located in continental Europe only, in the 19 countries where the euro is used as a fiat currency. The European Central Bank had implemented such a requirement, arguing that the negative externalities that could occur from delays in the settlement of payments if clearinghouses were located outside the euro zone justified adoption of the requirement. The General Court ruled, however, that the ECB does not have the authority to regulate clearing systems, as its authority only extends to payment systems. And finally, the London Metal Exchange implemented new rules and proposed new reforms to help ameliorate continued delays in retrieving metal from warehouses and the high cost of storage. These are in addition to a new rule, the so-called linked load-in, load-out, or LILO rule, implemented on February 1st, that required warehouses with delays of more than 50 days for delivering out metal, going forward, to accept less new metal for storage than they deliver out. However, the rollout of these new rules had been delayed by litigation that only recently concluded. Among other things, LME proposes to cap or ban charges for storage during periods of a long delay, for example 50 days or more. As part of its reforms and reform proposals, LME also proposed refinements to its LILO rule and provided guidance regarding the types of incentives it considers abusive that warehouse owners may pay to metal owners to attract metal into their warehouses. Well, that's it for this week's Bridging the Week. As always, there is more information in each article, and more articles on the article version of Bridging the Week on the website. Check it out. As I said, I had to go catch a flight to Florida. Until next week, this is Gary DeWaal. Have a great week, and ciao!